Thank you so much, Retta. That was beautiful, beautiful. So, I didn't get the chance to welcome everybody today, so I just want to welcome you and thank you for being here today to be a part of our community. And every one of you, every seat that you sit in is a special place to be because you make the community, so thank you for being here. And we do not have a practitioner here today to hold the consciousness or pray afterwards, but if somebody needs prayer, I will stay. I have about a half hour I can give you. Not just one person, but, you know. I have a half hour. I have a half hour that I would be my honor to pray for you afterwards. So if that is needed, please take advantage of it. We also have the prayer box outside that you can use. And again, I tell you guys this all the time, and the new practitioners are starting to understand this because they're part of our prayer now, that if you put that in, it gives us such a lovely opportunity. The first thing I do in the morning is pray for you. So I hold the consciousness, and it's more, you know, I hate to say this, but it starts my day off so beautifully. So please put them in there. We love that. So I want to, before I get started with my prayer, with my talk, hi, I didn't see you, hi. I just want to give thanks to everybody who makes today happen. I want to give thanks to everybody who makes our altar and plays our music and sets up and just makes everything, you know, work so beautifully. I know that that is an act of selfless devotion, and I know that all of you are special in your own right. So I just want to put that out for you and to you today, that it does not go unnoticed by me. So I thought I would talk about something that's real, something that I've been going through in my life so that I didn't have to dig out any old book and start reciting. I thought I would just be the real deal today. Yeah. Okay. So I'm here to speak about selfless devotion. And about 4 months ago, I wouldn't even know what that meant. I have to be honest with you. To the extent and level that I understand it today. So I had a couple physical struggles going on, these change in life things in women, and then I had 2 knee injuries, and I had choices to go on operating tables or try to do what New Thought teaches us to do. So I've been going a different route and trying to work the principles of the program. And I'm not going to say that it hasn't been a long challenge, but every day I do see I'm deepening into what this philosophy is all about. So so it was back in March, end of February, beginning of March, that I decided to figure out what this whole thing of selfless devotion is all about. Now, let me tell you, I'm a social worker for 25 years, and it's really easy. If you have a problem, I'm right there. I can make it happen, physical, mental, spiritual, I'll do it all for you. But when it comes to me, it's like when I get the wash done, and when I get this done, and when I get that done, I'll get around to me. So making this kind of commitment to me was like being a fish out of water, because what it meant was I had to go to a deeper level that even through ministry school, I wasn't given that opportunity to really do. Well, I not to the extent that I'm trying to do it now. Because I think every year you gain more knowledge, you become more aware of your capabilities in New Thought. So, what I've come to realize is that in a new and beautiful way, it has become a spiritual practice which is slowly activating my connection to my divinity and to this understanding of all-knowing, all-loving oneness in a way that's so profound. So it's been teaching me to go within, holding the knowing of who I am and what I deserve. See, that's a whole new thing, what I deserve. And shifting my perception of pain, which is what I've been experiencing, and condition to consciously living from my truth. So what do we know in New Thought? Our truth is that we're perfect, whole, and complete. We can say that really easily, but to understand that, to know that, to live that, to breathe that is a whole different thing. So during the last couple months, I've been learning about devotion to self, and I've begun to receive soulful guidance from people, places, and things. I'm taking good, orderly direction from people. Actually, somebody in this room thanked me for taking care of myself. And that was new for me, because nobody's ever thanked me for taking care of me. They're always thanking me for taking care of them. So I'm learning, and it's not easy, to take care of myself with the same enthusiasm that I've used to take care of others, and with the same enthusiasm that when I found God, I was all enthusiastic. I'm going to do this, and it's, I got this figured out. And the truth is, it's one day at a time, one prayer at a time, one awakening at a time. So making the conscious effort to do this selfless devotion has strengthened my relationship with me, with parts of me that I didn't even know, haven't really existed for years. And what I've come to uncover in my quest is that there's an opening and deepening to divine connection that is beyond my fears, beyond my pain, beyond my needs, beyond anything that is of condition, and any and all ailments. When I tune into my divinity through daily devotion, I align myself more and more to the universe that makes my life sweeter, really sweeter. I see things in a sweeter way now, including myself. Less judgment, I have this new clarity. It deepens my faith, and it leads me exactly where I'm supposed to be going, which is honoring myself more. Please understand, I'm not talking about ego, not feeding the ego. This is all a spiritual act. And Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, man will deliver himself from sickness and trouble in exact proportion to his discovery of himself and his true relationship to the whole. So I'm taking that literally. The more I understand myself, the more self-love I give, the more I'm going to get the microcosm of the macrocosm of the whole. I mean, you can get that on an intellectual level, but to feel that, know that, see that, breathe that is an undertaking. It's an undertaking. So I've been doing this daily devotion. I'm working on healing my thoughts, and I'm working on remembering that the answer to my prayers are in me and my beliefs. What does New Thought tell us? It's all about what we think. Change your thinking, change your life. When I know my body, and especially right now my knees have been the challenge, are whole, perfect, and complete, I create this sacred space. So I say this every day, and I create this sacred space that sets in motion the law of love. And you know the law of love, there's nothing bigger and better than love, which is it's the fundamental law of the universe. So I've been reminding myself daily that my body and my knees, our bodies, are daily miracles. They are our libraries. They're a place of worship. They are our home, all in one. They are bodies which are systems within systems, and systems containing systems. They're miracles. Our bodies are miracles. They're beyond our understanding, our bodies. So recognizing my body and health from this sacred space has been a radical for me, a radical act of self-devotion. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm walking on water. I'm not. It's a daily reprieve every morning. Not yet. It's a daily reprieve. It's a daily reprieve of remembering every morning. But what I will tell you is I never had the courage to embrace myself on this level. I've skirted around it many times for the last 30 years. I've been skirting around these issues. But to give myself this full opportunity to love in order to heal without abandon, is a whole different ballgame for me. The definition of self-devotion is considered dedication to oneself, especially to a service or principle or ideal. So for the last 4 months, I've been redefining self-love and what it looks like in my life. And at times, it can still feel uncomfortable. I mean, certainly it can. I'm a human being. But on so many levels, I'm finding new blessings. There's new blessings. I'm looking through life through new glasses. Many of the great mystics or spiritual philosophers have taught us this lesson about self-healing and self-love. We've heard it over and over and over again, right? We've read it in many different ways, that the mind of man is some part of the mind of God. Therefore, it contains within itself unlimited possibilities. This sounds wonderful, right? And, when you just hear that, you soak up into that. But how do we actually use this knowledge for good? How do we take this principle and use it? The only way that I know is by tapping into the universal mind through our thoughts, through prayer, through meditation. And how do we get our thoughts aligned? How do we get out of the way to really deserve this truth? We pray, we meditate, and I'm really good at praying and meditating, not so good at taking the action. I just started taking the action. I didn't have the dots connected before. So now I'm taking the action, which is a spiritual act in itself. Our minds are functioning at the level of our understanding of our place in the universe. It is done unto us as you believe. To the extent that you understand this is what manifests in your life. That's what you demonstrate. If you think this much, that's what you get. If you think abundance, that's what you get. And if you practice that understanding, more of that. And I can look out here and tell you, I know miracles are happening in your lives. I know I can point, but I'm not going to, that this is happening for you because you're practicing these principles. And those of you that are smiling know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. When I did the homework for this, I was trying to figure out who I'm going to refer to. Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, they all have these principles working in their lives. But I like Jesus because it was simple, and I'm short and sweet and simple. So I like the example of Jesus. Jesus is a good example of spiritual leader who taught self-love. When Jesus said, pray without ceasing, this means to have a constant awareness of our relationship with the presence of good and God. When we read Ernest Holmes and his teachings in The Science of Mind, we learn persistent thought is the greatest power known and the most effective for change. You want me to read it again?
I heard it.
Okay. The whole teaching of the Bible is to the effect that God is universal spirit, which creates by the power of the word, and man produces this divine nature to the depths, again, of his understanding. It's all about how much we understand. And in the Bible, Romans 2:12 says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That is so New Thought. It's always about renewing us. It's not about the world, it's about us. What's in the way of us receiving our good? Today, we know what this means, us New Thoughters. The renewing of our minds is Science of Mind principles. As we pour new thoughts into the channels of our minds, things become renewed. Things become renewed to the depths of your understanding of this and to your belief system. So I've been saying daily, if God is all there is and the universe is one, then there is no power or presence against my truth. The infinite life is around and within me. This life is already fully expressed and complete. This life is my life now and the life of all I think, say, and do. So I meditate on that. I wrote that up. It spoke to me. I wrote it up, and I meditate on that daily. And after I meditate on that, I hold that knowing until my body, till all of me understands the concept. It's a lot easier to get it here than it is here, because we get that. In the hours before his death, Jesus kept showing the 12 disciples acts of his love over and over again by washing their feet. And I'll tell you why I went here. Instead of Jesus being concerned with his own glory or connection to God, he was totally conscious of revealing his personal love to the 12 men. And I found this in a book, and I forgot to quote where I found it, but I love this. It says, he loved them to the very end. He loved them to perfection. He loved them with the total fullness of love, without reservation. When most would be worried about their own fate, he selflessly loved them as perfection. Now, it may sound like I'm making 2 points here, but make no mistake, what I've come to understand in the last 4 months is that it is absolutely necessary when you devote yourself to self and we feel the soul within us, then we can start to spread that kind of divine love. And I think Jesus and the Buddha and men of, of spiritual greatness were capable of that because they spent this time of devotion filling their well so that they could give that kind of love. Imagine yourself 12 hours before you're going to die, or the day before you're going to die, washing the feet of other people. What really would you have been doing at that time? But if you were full, if you knew the power and presence and knowing of your existence, maybe you would have had the opportunity to spend the time to spread that love. Love has to be more than words. I love this because it's true. Anybody can say, I love you. Love that is real is expressed in activity, not just words. I can tell myself every day, I love you, I love you. But if I don't show love in the form of activity, am I really spreading love? Those words are cheap. And that goes for self-love. That goes for self-love too. Michael Beckwith, who is the founder of Agape, he chose the name Agape for the name for his spiritual center because it translates of love that is holy, selfless, and spiritual. For him, it defined the vision that he wanted to lead in his life. And he wanted to be centered in this selfless love. In our Signs of Mind teachings, we believe that Jesus, among others, was a loving, powerful man who walked the earth as a master teacher and a great example of how to live an individualized expression of love. So how do we do this? Was Jesus codependent, or did he recognize the truth of his own being through meditation and prayer? It seems to me he would have been connected in a profoundly spiritual way to his own self-devotion because he defined himself beyond the boundaries of body. He defined himself beyond the boundaries of life. This is the truest sense of enlightenment. This is where we're going with this. And so what I also have come to understand is that you can't give away what you don't have. If I don't fill my soul, really hard to give the pure essence of love to you. So I really understand that I don't want to shortcome anybody in what I do, so it's really important that I take care of myself. So for me, putting my time and intention on self-devotion has helped me embrace the truth of my being and has helped me to reacquaint myself with the power of my source. I forgot how powerful God was. So now I don't have to see myself separate from the miraculous power of God. Miracles are happening all the time. I am allowing the knowledge of my divinity to reclaim its truth inside of me on a whole new level. And when I'm in pain, and I am in pain, I get pain, I consciously move through it. I'm holding the knowing, so I send love to the pain. And I accomplish this movement where I become aware of eliminating the suffering. And I recognize how trivial suffering can be in the whole grand scheme of life. And from this vantage point, when I see that, when I can separate myself from that, I send whatever's bothering me love, whether it's a person, a physical ailment, or a thing. Now, do I do it all the time and right all the time? Absolutely not. But this is what I'm practicing these days. This is what has been, apparently, I was hit on the head with this. I'm supposed to be doing this right now. The universe does for us what we can't do for ourselves. There's a phrase from a Native American tribe that I've also been using when I feel stuck in this practice. And it says, now and then, I go about pitying myself. All the while, my soul is being blown by great winds across the sky. And see, that's the truth. That's really the truth. That really grounds me, and I can get out of my stuff and realize the totality of life. So this is a great image for me when I'm caught up in condition, because I then remember that my soul is so much more. So my lessons for the last 4 months have been in God realization, meaning the conscious realization of my oneness with God and my highest self. I've studied a lot of books on God and spirituality, and I thought I had a decent concept of this oneness thing. But as I've been working on self-devotion, and I'm expanding what God is, what God feels like, what God's will is for me, beyond condition and beyond infinity. I have a much broader sense of this God thing. God realization means self-discovery in the highest sense of the term. The moment you get that, you and God are one. You begin to see your life in all new terms. How do you know when you've come to realize God in this way? How do you know when you're seeing God and you as one? This is a great analogy. I hope you remember this if you remember nothing else. When you look in the mirror and you see not only your face, but other faces, and you know that they are all yours in love, that's when you know you've aligned yourself with God. Love is not something you acquire or give. It's something you become. You become love. When you become love, compassion springs forth and manifests loving kindness. And you're able to give it to all. This is the act of Jesus. So I've come to learn that love begins within. And when we seek to love another first, ask yourself, do you love yourself? Before you give to another human being, this thing you think is love, find out if you're doing the same thing for yourself. If you're not there, consider nurturing and cultivating your own self-love. All virtues like love, compassion, forgiveness, and trust have to start with ourselves before we can extend it to another. It's got to start home. Experience love by being in love and of love. Let love begin with you in everything you do. Let love begin with you in everything you do. If you can't see the love, be the love. So as we go forward in love, we create a new world for ourselves that supports our deepest joy and true fulfillment. Let's not wait to find love. Let's start today. The time is now. The place is here. I'm just going to do a little prayer to end for you guys, to awaken you. To this place of love. If you'd like to close your eyes, you're welcome to. You don't have to. Just be open to receive. Right here and right now, you are sitting on holy ground. I bless the fullness of your being. I bless the wholeness of who you are. I bless the love that emanates in and through you. Right here, ask yourself, how much do I love thee? Become love. Right here and now, allowing love to enter your body, all parts of your body, your mind, your thoughts, your breath, allowing it to heal, allowing it to make your way straight, allowing yourself this opportunity. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of the manifestations of love, the demonstrations of love, the goodness of love, the expansion of love, the healing properties of love. They are all yours to the depths of your understanding and belief. Nurturing, cultivating, allowing, expanding. So I give thanks for the truth of your being. I give thanks for witnessing the beauty and love that's in this room. I give thanks for the devotion that each and every one of you have to your heart, to love, to yourself. spoken them. It is true. It is so. It is done. And I give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, guys.